Okay,
Welcome to our.
we've done it like we've recorded this like 7 times because I keep muting it. Apparently,
he hasn't had much cat a lot.
oh yeah.
Okay, this is our first top 10 on the channel. We're gonna be doing on the top 10 NALCS top laners that are not from this country because we have Ssumday here. But this is our first top 10. It was gonna be 10 through 6, 5, 5, 5 through 1, but he said just do it all at once. And I was like, sure, he's the boss of the channel. I have to do what he says. He pays my bills.
Okay.
And
pays his bills.
Okay, so
my biggest thing about this, we want to do this because Ellis put out his. You remember that
he does.
Recently, Ellis put out his extremely controversial ranking of each the lane.
To be fair, I was gonna put out we were gonna do this anyway, but this kind of fast forwarded.
Yeah, but he put out one that I didn't agree with for the most part, and I honestly even though I do agree that Ellis is smart, I did not like the rank, and I felt like this. Since he did this controversial ranking, I felt like this is a good time to release ours.
I feel like he did them more based off recency.
It seemed like it for the most part, kind of, but I do also want to put out that we did not put out every single top laner. We put out the ones we thought were going to be the starters.
Okay.
For the next season.
So
we don't know.
Upon with what I do on my other channel as how I rank things, you need to rank things in a very, very not biased way. You need to rank them as with what's the thing it's something you have to rank things in a certain way.
You mean non-biased?
Well, that's still gonna come into play. But you have to rank them kind of based on criteria. How much the player would impact the team, overall play, how strong he can be in the draft, how flexible is this player, what strengths does this player offer, and then that was going to give you your number one. I think that when people do rankings, they need to rank things based off what they should be and not how you feel, because ranking should not be off how you feel. Ranking should be off what is clear-cut facts. Stats, playability, flexibility, how strong is this player in draft, what are their overall strengths. Overall weaknesses can apply, but if someone has less weaknesses than someone else, then that should more or less boost them or lower them, which was I'm going to do in my own critique in life. So the person with overall just would impact on team count too, because top laners do generally have a bigger impact, and with TP coming back to a lower cooldown when the NALCS comes back, and all the regions, it's going to be on, what, 3 seconds now?
Yeah, they released it a while ago.
See, and that's going to make top lane even more better, too. Also, since top laners, with the more recent patches of Riot wanting to put out carry top laners more, and have tanks, just kind of have a balanced duo, you're going to want to try go for who has the most carry potential, too, because top laners are kind of left alone on an island, and carry potential as well.
I'm going to be honest, I feel like these people know what power rankings involve.
No, but some are just based off here's number one, this is number two. I like to get my criteria out there.
Well, honestly, okay. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna release both of our numbers together.
Okay.
He's gonna go first, then I'll go and put my number.
Do you want to just do the players one by one, or just go by players?
Let's go. You go put your number 10, then I'll put my number 10.
Our number 10 is the same.
Yeah, that you didn't have to say that, but yes.
Our number 10 is the same.
Our number 10 is the same. That was so anticlimactic. Okay, well, we both put Solo as the number 10 position.
Oh, sorry. I should say this before you actually officially start. Technically, we're not saying they're going to be the worst thing ever. We're just saying in terms of everybody else, you're going to probably be this way.
Well, we can only base it off what we think.
Yeah. But so I just want to get that out there. I don't want to,
Solo number 10, I don't think it's really arguable. I don't know who would he be placed below.
But we figure out you have to give your reasons. So why is Solo your number 10?
I mean, he had pretty much the worst in every aspect last split in terms of top lane, but like impacts.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like on the team that he had, I feel like he should have been more of a threat. Like he had a team of Feven, Lyra in their prime when they were doing well, and yet he still seemed to not look good. He looked solid. He looked average for like 3 weeks, at the very peak of what I would say was the Clutch Gaming's like strength, and then he just fell apart.
Yeah, when they were in third place, he wasn't even impressive either.
I feel all around, I feel like Solo had time. It wasn't his team holding him back like some of these people on this list. I feel like he himself had a good team around him at points and still seemed to not look good. So I don't think he has the potential.
I think that if you factor in what I was considering for criteria for top laners, man, he offers no flexibility in draft. He's not a player you play around. He's not a carry threat in your team. He's also a player that I don't think that he's going to offer anything of what these other players are. And this is not being harsh. This is just from what I saw. And this is, I've also seen this guy in the Challenger Series too. So I've had a lot of times watching him. And it's just, I'm imagining he's a great guy. But against these other players, it's not going to match up. I think he's going to be a contender for 9th or 10th. So maybe he surprises. I'm not saying it. I saw him get completely clapped. Like, remember, there was a game Cloud9 played against him in the spring when they were one of the best teams. Remember the game Licorice played Kled against him into an Orin? Like, he was just all around getting just body blocked. Like, it's just, like, I can't make, like, if you take in the criteria, he loses in that too. I don't think he's going to be able to strategically pull off a 1-4 like a lot of these other top laners have. Like, we've seen some of these guys play Fiora. We've seen some of these guys play, like, Aurelia and do, like, you know, the whole pushing side lanes, holding side waves and stuff like that. I don't think he's going to be able to pull that off. So, number 10 is solo. Sorry, guys.
I don't think anybody's upset about it.
He's all solo down there.
Okay. So, the number 9. What is your number 9?
What was my number 9, actually?
It was...
Can you have it over it? Oh, yeah. My number 9 is actually Dhokla. Which is yours?
Mine is actually going to be Darshan.
Ooh, so we're going to have a little bit of a difference there.
Okay, so I think that... Oh, you want to go with your... No, I'll go first. Okay.
Ladies first.
Oh, there you go. So, Darshan was honestly, like, during the end of the, like, beginning of the summer split, he looked absolutely, like, in my opinion, he looked extremely strong. Like, I was kind of excited. This was going to be his redemption. He's coming
spring,
back
right?
to his... Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, summer.
End of summer?
Beginning of summer.
Okay. Yeah.
So at the beginning of summer, I honestly think he looked to be one of the better top laners in NA. And I thought this was going to be the time where he got back to his split pushing days. And then it honestly just fell apart after they started 4-0. He just never, at that point...
He had a couple good Darius games.
Yeah, but I think that he just became, at that point, everybody besides the bot lane became a liability.
Gosh.
Bot lane and mid.
Their top side just was all...
Yeah, it was jungle and top was just such a gigantic liability. They just could not pull a win through. But I think the biggest reason as to why I think that he is going to be probably in the 9th for me is because, like, at the end of the split, everybody realized that he was just not doing well, and they actually replaced him with Fallen Bandit, who seemed to perform better than him. I still think they're going to play Darshan. That's why I put him on the ranking. But for right now, I'm going to stick with putting Darshan at 9th. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens.
Everything Darshan used to offer, Dhokla just offered it, and he just did it worse. Like, they gave him carries. Yorick, I mean, who pulls out Yorick? He won, like, I'm not saying what he did was overall better in terms of aspect of play, because Darshan still played laning better than Dhokla. Like, he absorbed ganks better, but in terms of just absorbing pressure, Dhokla absorbed pressure, he was flexible in draft. Like, if you left him on his own and he like, managed to not...
I'm going to put this out there. You put Dhokla below Darshan. Remember this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just think that Dhokla is going to be better this split than Darshan. I think that.
Okay.
I think that if you just... And all around, from what I just saw, like, Darshan's been on a, in my opinion, a decline for quite a bit of time. I just think people just don't want to admit it. But, I mean... I'm being honest, it's been a long time coming, and I think that Dhokla is just going to be an overall slightly better player than Solo, but he's going to be a lot worse than everybody else too. So, and then Dhokla is my number 9, Darshan is your number 9, so Darshan is my number 8, and who is your number 8?
My number 8 is actually Dhokla, or Dhokla. However you say his name, man.
So Darshan for me, like I said, see, here's the problem. They offered something in draft that Solo doesn't, which is the reason why they're higher. Darshan can carry games, and so can Dhokla. I think that, Darshan being that. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm talking about Darshan. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so 10 Solo, 9 Dhokla, 8 Darshan, and then I think like you have to pair him with the player that works well with him. And who are they going to do that? We have no clue if that synergy is going to just carry over between Wiggly and Darshan from the last games they won. I mean, it's just such a wild card, man. He hasn't been good since the 2017. He hasn't been good since the whole year, and it's just been a downtrend for a while. Like, there's not that more you can say. I mean, he does have a nice impact on his team, which puts him with a higher precedent. He does shot call. higher precedent than Dhokla and Solo. So Darshan is my number 8 pick actually.
My number 8 pick is gonna be Dhokla, based purely off the fact that I think even though he wasn't a carry threat, he didn't do most of the things that you want in your top laner. He wasn't a liability.
That's a good thing though.
He did not feed in terms of in comparison to the bottom two. I don't think he fed as often. He did actually put out some carry performances when he pulled out the random pocket picks, but for the most part, I think that Dhokla is still. And on top of the fact, I think that Dhokla is young. He's just barely coming into the scene, while Darshan's pretty old. Mm-hmm. I think that he has he has time to improve. I think that he has the ability to transcend from what he's played from before. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest reason. The biggest reason I'm putting him above Darshan is because I think he has potential.
Okay.
But that is all saying that he plays better than last split.
That's crazy. So Solo, Dhokla and Darshan. 9, 10, 8. My number 7 pick is a 7. Ours is the same, isn't it?
It is.
Oh god.
It's gonna be
Viper. So this is we're taking a risk here. I'm taking a big risk in mine. I don't like because every time I don't take a risk, I'm wrong. But every time I take a risk, I'm right, and every time I don't, I'm wrong. So I'm just gonna go with my gut all the time. Viper showed flexibility in the academy scene. He's shown that he could not be a one. He's shown that he didn't need to be a one trick anymore. He played to different champions. He got his team leads ahead, pressure, flexibility in draft. This guy played 1-4-1 very fine. I think that on a team of more veterans, he's gonna just play a whole lot extremely better. I think that he's just in the same position as Licorice is just last year, honestly, because Licorice showed promise in the challenger scene too. It just transcending over was the only question mark. He's either gonna feed or he's gonna do really well. I'm gonna take the high road and say he's gonna do pretty well actually.
I don't know if number 7 overall is going to be doing pretty well, but I actually do think that he showed a lot of promise in the challenger scene. From going from what I believed he was to be a Riven one trick, he honestly he looked to be one of the best top laners in the Academy League in terms of it was between him and Shiro for me.
Dude, it looked like Viper was hard smurfing.
Yeah, but honestly, Viper looked to be the strongest top lane Academy League player. So I'm extremely excited to see what he actually brings to the table. I think that he showed potential. He has the mechanics, obviously.
Yeah.
Since he's pretty famous on his Riven. I think that the fact that he can play Riven brings out some pocket picks if that ever happens.
He does create some draft problems for a lot of teams.
I don't think he'll ever be able to bring out his Riven in professional play, but that just means we have the ability to maybe get it. I would like that. But overall, I think that Viper is. I think he is going to be. I'm putting it number 7 because this is just we don't know enough about him in the professional scene, but I think he's going to shoot up to at least number 5 by the end of the split. Maybe
I think his highest could be 6 or 5.
I think he could shoot up towards the top of the league because I think that he shows. The only reason that I think he's not going to be incredible is because of the fact of the team he's on.
Yeah, I think that he'll have that classic syndrome of good player, bad team type thing.
I think he can shoot up to number 5 based solely off his performance, but won't go any higher because you can't really see how good a player is if his team's just that bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he has.
I'm taking a risk on this guy. A lot. I was right about Licorice last year, so I'll like to be right again. All right, number 6. We have it the same. It's gonna be C9's old top laner, Impact. So.
I think that Impact honestly is a stable top laner. He shows just tremendous talent on tanks, and I think he's one of the better tank players in NA.
I think he's the best, honestly.
I don't think he's the best. I think the fact is he's the most knowledgeable.
I think that from what he offers on tanks compared to everybody else, I think he's the best.
I think he's probably a worse top laner tank than the top 3.
I don't think so.
number 1. I think number 1's probably a better top laner.
I think number 1's got just...
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. I think that Impact, although he's had a lot of success recently, I think that he is probably, if you're gonna point out a weak link in this roster of NA, of this Team Liquid roster, I think he
be a super team.
Yeah, he is gonna be the weak link, and that's saying something because
Impact is saying something though.
That is saying something.
He's not really flexible. You can't draft around him.
But the thing
he's
about
not really lane dominant.
You don't have to be lane dominant. He's a stable top laner. He won't feed. He plays tanks well. He supports the team well. His TPs.
He does shot call.
I don't know if he's not the shot caller, but his TPs are extremely good. So I think all around this player, if you're gonna have a worse player, this is exactly who you'd want it to be.
And he's a world champion, so
yeah, this is a player you'd want to say this is like the abilities and talents he brings to the table for his team. It more so. Although he has weaknesses, he's just there to support his team. I feel like he is still in number 6 is kind of saying something. Like I feel like he might be. Like, I think he was in contention for 5th, but that's just.
Feel like he just isn't a. See the problem. You also have to be a carry threat, which is part of my criteria. He's not a carry threat.
They have multiple carry threats on their team now.
But
I don't believe
that's just him as a. Like we said, it's not a team. This is a player. He's not a carry threat. I don't think he's a. It's just a. You see what you're gonna get out of him, which is. I mean that's okay, but he's not gonna be anything higher than number 6.
Okay.
That's my
fair.
Because like if you translate this to international. Like, he's not flexible. That's going to be a big problem. So if you just have a person that, like you said yesterday, plays an aggressive top laner that smashes a tank, what does he do?
The thing about it is, I think he's good enough on what he does on tanks to not get smashed. I think that there's not many top laners in the world that can just completely exploit him, though there are some.
Yeah.
I hope he does not ever face them. But he, for the most part, will not get exploited by any top laners because he is decent enough on tanks.
I think it also overextends a lot. That's just my thing.
I think he doesn't. I think that's one of his great... Like, I think he doesn't overextend nearly that much, to be honest.
All right. So, number 5 for me is where we differ. So, who is your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Hauntzer.
My number 5 is going to be... Broken Blade.
Mm-hmm. So I'm putting Hauntzer at number 5 based solely off the fact that I think he was he looked to be every single split except for the summer split of last split. He looked to be one of the top NA top laners, honestly. I don't think he was ever out of the top 3 until the summer split of last split.
That's crazy.
He was always in the number, but I think the biggest reason as to why I think he's going to fall out onto number 5 is based purely off the fact that he has a weaker team around him now. I think
that's kind of the reason why I put Broken Blade as my number 5.
Well, I just think that Hauntzer honestly has a weaker team around him now. They have some strong suits. I think that Froggen's going to make him... Mm-hmm. Like, if it comes down to it, I think that him and Froggen could make a dynamic solo lane... carry threat. But I don't know if this team all around is strong enough to make like an impact on the scene. So, although I do think Hauntzer is a great player, I think he essentially can play anything that you put him on, and he won't feed. Like, he won't feed on top of the fact that he is versatile enough to play tanks or carries. I think that he has to be at least 5th.
Okay, so your 5 was Hauntzer. Mm-hmm. My 5 is going to be Broken Blade. I think when you look at what we saw in that region, is something of the beginnings of a superstar, is what I saw. This is the same thing I saw in Caps. Now, why is some people are going to ask me why I choose Broken Blade number 5? Because Broken Blade is going to have TSM around him. Hauntzer is going to have Golden Guardians. That's a big difference. Hauntzer is going to go from having a pretty decent team around him to an overall not decent team around him, which could either inhabilitate
oh my God,
or inhabilitate or habilitate or it's either gonna inhabilitate him.
Stop it! Use a different word.
It's either gonna hinder his play or make it better.
I'm so happy.
No,
why?
It's either they're gonna hinder his play or make it better.
No more.
And with that being said, we're also not gonna count that what's gonna be a better duel: Contracts or Hauntzer, or Broken Blade and Grig. I think the one that has nothing to prove is going to be better. Is going to be better than the team that has something to prove, because I also think that this split he's going to feel the need to carry. It's not really going to translate out too well. I just don't see him being number. I just don't see him being past like number 4 anymore. I just don't see it. I think the reason why they got Broken Blade is because he's going to honestly just be better, but. You know, and I think Broken Blade does offer flexibility. You're going to have to ban multiple of his carry champions away, or be at the risk of fighting one of them in lane and probably not doing so well. But, you know, that it's all dependent on what the meta's going to look like. But
all right.
Broken Blade is my number 4.
Okay.
Wait, right? Broken Blade is my number 4, right?
No, 5.
Broken Blade is my number 5, right?
Yes. Come on, the numbers are right. You're on the right.
Okay.
There
I
you
forgot.
go.
Broken Blade plays my number 5, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a Alright, so who is your number 5?
I already went over my number 5. Remember?
Who is your number 4?
My number 4 is gonna be Broken Blade.
Okay.
I think that Broken Blade, if you looked at the TCL series, his team was always number 2 at the top 2 spots. Never fell out below that. I think that like the fact that he can consistently keep four or five
Bands?
4 or 5 accounts in the top 10 of EU, which is like one of the top regions in the world, like in terms of solo queue. I think the fact that he could keep 4 to 5 accounts in the top 10 is just ridiculous. He is like, essentially, in my opinion, he seems like a TF Blade that can play more than 3 champions, which is kind of nice.
Right.
I think that all around he provides. He essentially, I think that if I'm gonna hype somebody up, he's gonna be the one I hype up the most.
He's gonna be probably what Viper should be on a better team.
I think that Viper is not as good as him. I'm gonna be honest. I think
but if that's who you kind of
if I'm gonna
your scale to.
if I'm gonna compare new people, I'm gonna say obviously that Viper and Broken Blade are similar in that aspect because they're new. But Broken Blade, honestly, if we're gonna hype somebody, it has to be him. Dude has 4 to 5 accounts in Challenger in the top 10.
Massive champion pool.
Always,
I could not see someone not banning stuff he plays.
Demolished the TCL scene with the team that, like, his Fallen Bandit team.
Royal Bandits were called?
I don't... Were they
Something
called
like...
Fallen Bandit? Or whatever. But, so, essentially he did that. So, all around, I think that there is, in my opinion, just based off the achievements he has as of right now and the talent that he has, if he falls out of top 4, then... Maybe, top 4 to top 3, I think he's a disappointment.
I think that if he goes anything below than 5th, it'd be a disappointment.
He is, or
because you factor in people who have experience in the league are probably always going to outmatch him anyway.
It's not like he's a rookie. He's been playing. The thing is, if he comes into this roster with the amount of hype he has, and the person
he's the biggest question mark.
The thing about it is, he replaced somebody who I honestly don't think was a problem. So I'm wondering.
He's gonna have to replace somebody that wasn't a problem and wasn't a problem facing Korean talent here too.
Hauntzer is a top 5 player, and if you don't do better than Hauntzer in this league,
he has to be at least between 4 to 1.
He has to be better than Hauntzer, because if you're not better than him, why did you replace him? So if I think he provides enough to the team, I can't imagine him being at least 4th.
Mine, you guys are my 4th by now because we switched it, is definitely Hauntzer. He's always been in top 3. I think that with a bit of additions and the bit of experience, and when you couple in other things that have happened in the league this year, kind of brought him down. I think that when he had to be a sole carrier on the team too, it didn't work out too. Like, we saw a lot of his Gangplank performances not working out. We saw a lot of his TPs not work out. We saw he wasn't really underperforming. He kind of was, but like it wasn't consistent. But that's supposed to be out of the player that's not in the top 3. And I think when you put him on a team like Golden Guardians, that's gonna probably make his carry potential and what he was just a whole lot worse. Unless Froggen's masterful shot calling is just gonna bring him back. Like, he's gonna be well enough on his own, which is a great thing. Not flexible in draft, which was kind of make him a weakness in terms of when you place out of the
Wait,
top
you don't
3.
think he's flexible? Yeah, he can play tanks and carries. I would say that his flexibility is one of his strengths.
It's not like, but they're not going to draft that around him though.
Well, you're right. They won't. I think they
might.
I would have to see if they pick him or Definitely to be the secondary carry. To be honest.
So that's really just honestly up to interpretation. But I think Hauntzer is going to be a fine number. He's my number 4 pick. I think that they did make a mistake with changing the guy. Like checking out Broken Blade's Twitch solo queue. He's a fine player, but was Hauntzer the person you needed to change?
He wasn't. But if this proves to be,
that's a big change.
I think if they prove
he's not better than number 4 or 3, it was a wrong decision.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be better than Hauntzer based purely off the fact of his accomplishments as of right now, but we don't know yet.
But Hauntzer's also he's won championships like.
Hauntser's
been to Worlds.
Okay.
Hauntser's performed. We don't talk about that like group stages, but if you replace a problem, if you replace somebody that wasn't a problem and get something to replace that problem, which wasn't a problem, was it a problem?
Problem?
Probably not. But you got to factor in if he's not anything better. Like I said, so someone's gonna ask why are we saying that? Because he was the unnecessary change. If he's unnecessary to change, they're bringing someone in with less experience, no championships, no world experience. Hauntzer has all 3 of those. So I can't, without a doubt, not put Hauntzer above Broken Blade. I just can't do it. Now, if I'm wrong, I guess, but just can't do it. Now, this is where we differ in our number 3.
We differed on number 4, too. I think our number 3 is probably going to be the most controversial part of this video. Because
I'm ready for all the dislikes. Do you want
me to go first or you?
The TSM haters already hate you for putting Hauntzer, or you put Broken Blade above Hauntzer, right?
I put Broken Blade above Hauntzer.
You're already going to have the TSM lovers love you. But TSM loves Hauntzer too, so I guess
I don't know.
That way.
But honestly, I'm going to put my number 3 is going to have to be Licorice. In my opinion, I think that...
TSM!
Okay.
No? Okay, no. So why is your 3rd pick Licorice?
I think that number 3 obviously has to be Licorice, based purely off the fact that I don't think that... Like, although I do think he has incredible talent, I don't think I've seen enough of him yet. Mm-hmm. I think he was not in the number... He wasn't in the top 2 for Spring Split, in terms of top lane talent. Mm-hmm. In Spring, I think he was the number 2's pick, but I don't know if he can continually keep this increasing... skill level, like, I don't think he's going to increasingly get better.
To be fair.
He did not impress me in terms of what he provided at Worlds. I think he played well, but I don't think he was the shining light of that team. I obviously think it revolved mostly around just Jensen's ability to play. So I think all around, I think Licorice is, he proved himself to be capable enough to, like, combat these top lane pressure, but we saw what happened when he played against Kin. Whatever you pronounce his name, like he got absolutely demolished in a game where his teams were winning.
To be fair, that game was odd because it wasn't just, they were technically losing in kills, but they weren't losing in terms of like macro.
We're talking purely off this top.
So just laning wise.
We're talking.
Yeah, he got like absolutely.
He got destroyed. He got beat down.
To be fair, it could have been bad day.
It could have been, but I think
if you go in terms of ranking, you can't do that.
I think in terms of what we've seen, we've seen him match up against top lane international threat now, and he did not prove to me that he was capable. Like that was the first person I would say, yeah, this is a capable top laner. The first one I think that he faced, and he honestly, in my opinion, he didn't come up to the table. He did not step up to the plate.
All right.
If I'm gonna, I get a few more things.
He's gonna rant really.
I just think that the top 2 players obviously have actually proven to be. An international, like, against these top lane things, they have succeeded against these. That's why I could not put him above these last 2 people. Mm-hmm. All right, you're up.
Number 3 pick is Huni. The problem with Huni is a lot. See, that's the problem. Someone's gonna know my number 2 pick at this point. But okay, so Huni. I mean, where do I even start? Okay, so the highs he has are better than the lows he has. But you look at Huni is a flexible player. You can draft around this guy. He carries games. This dude, if it wasn't for Faker, Huni almost literally carried them to World Finals. He's had Fnatic, Season 5. He was a new rookie dude, completely just going ham on people. So you look at all that. This guy was on SKT. Translated that into Echo Fox this year. He said he had food poisoning during the times where were the absolute moments where he needed to he got sick, but if you just discredit all that and just discredit Rift when he started playing bad at Rift Rivals, right? Mm-hmm. This dude was arguably MVP candidate for almost all the way up till summer.
Are you sure you're putting him at number 3? I feel like you're hyping him up to be the best now.
Like, I think that in terms of what he offers a team, it's going to be laning-wise is fine. Problem with overextends, dies too much, tries to go too aggressive when he doesn't need to. I think that if the team around him doesn't help him, he's going to look a little bit worse than the other 2 picks that I have, so that's why he's my number 3 pick. So, we're down to the wire.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2.
You want to go first this time?
My number 2 pick is Licorice.
No one's surprised.
And I'm going to give Licorice a big tub of Licorice when I go to DLC.
And my number 2 is going to be Huni.
Okay. So who? Okay.
You want to go first this time?
Your turn.
Okay. Well, I was about to finish my fries. That's why I wanted.
Got it.
Okay, so the 100% the reason why I put Huni at number 2, he did struggle in the summer split, but in spring we have to remember he was the single best performing top laner in the league. Mm-hmm. He was the single best performing top, which means last year he only had 1 split of mediocrity. And that's just mediocrity for him. He was still in the top 5. That's in terms of what I think he provides to the team. I think he's when he's on, I think he's one of the best carry threats in NA. He's the top 2 carry threat in NA when he's on. And when he's on, he can also play tanks. He's versatile. I think that his biggest weakness is his aggression because sometimes he overextends. But that can be said about anybody on a carry, to be honest. Licorice, I think I put him above Licorice because in terms of what I've seen him in that international play, Huni is just rookie year. He destroyed people. He beat pretty much everybody I saw in his rookie year. He did well against pretty much everybody. Mm-hmm. So but Licorice, however, when he stacked up against these all-star caliber people in the top lane, in his rookie year, I would say the only competent top laner he played were when he got into the playoffs. Into the World's the quarterfinals, mm-hmm. when he played against Keen, and he did not stack up well against him. I think against Bwipo, again, he pretty much did not stack up against Bwipo. He did not beat Bwipo, in my opinion.
I think Bwipo was just a little bit, tiny bit of a version better than him.
I think that Bwipo is probably, as it stands right now, Bwipo is more impressive to me. But I'm going to say that the reason I put Huni at number 2 is, although he did have a sort of a slump, I think throughout his entire career, he's proven to be a pretty decently capable top laner, honestly. Internationally, in Korea, he looked to be one of the best at some points. Mm-hmm. I think that he has too much of essentially a legacy going for him. You can't discredit his entire career just based purely off of one split.
Bad months.
Just one split, honestly. Like, I think that if you don't put him at number 2, you'd have to. I would have to see a reason as to why you put Licorice over him, because that just makes, like, honestly. Although I do think
I got some stuff ready. I
sure,
have a long list.
I think that Licorice, although I do think he showed that he had talent. I don't deny that, and I think that at some point he could become one of the best top laners in the world. Maybe not. Maybe
he could be better than Smeb.
Probably not. I think that I might have been more.
He's better than Crazy.
I think that he is going to become, at this point, a rival for Bwipo in the future. I think that these two are going to clash a lot in the future.
Because Fnatic and Cloud are the best Western teams for NA and EU.
Well, not next year probably, but I think
that I still think Cloud9 or Fnatic can be. It always comes down to them, but who knows? Years change, things change.
Mm-hmm. I think those are going to be the two rising talents in the top lane for each region. I think they are going to be a big, like, at some points they're both comparable to each other. I do think Bwipo at this point is slightly better than him. So as it stands right now, I think that I see him competing with Western talents. I think he's going to be one of the top ones. Mm-hmm. In the top 2 for the rest of his career. Oh, not top 2. I think Wonder was obviously better too. But I think he's going to be a top 2 like Western, if we're talking about non-imports and all that stuff. I think that he's going to be in the top 2 to 3 for the rest of his career. But I do not think that he's going to compete with these these mega all-stars in terms of what the Chinese and Koreans are bringing to the table.
All right. I'm going to have a long one. Yeah. I'm just going to let the major finish so I can wreck you and everything. Ready?
Get me wrecked, dude.
Or get... TSM. All right. So, Licorice is my number 2 pick for... Oh my god, there's tons of reasons. There's no Cloud9 bias here.
I bet.
Oh yeah, we're putting out.
Let's just put this out there before World started. He said Cloud9
was gonna make semis.
They're not. Yeah, this is not an exaggeration. He said they're gonna beat RNG once.
Yeah.
2-0 the rest of the teams in the group. This is all what he said.
I said they're gonna beat Vitality twice.
Yeah, you said Samsung too. Don't even act.
I said it was probably.
Then he said they're gonna make.
I said not in late game they're gonna beat.
I'm just saying.
Hey. When you're right, you're right.
I'm just saying it proved
right. He put 100 Thieves above Fnatic.
I was basing it off, hey, top lane is going to be so good. All right,
I had a reason for mine.
I had a reason, but go.
Okay, so, Licorice, the sexy, good-looking, tall dude. All right, so, when you factor in what Licorice does, okay, so if I had to recap it and kind of retaliate it back to the reason why he's going to be my number 2 pick, for several reasons. Okay, so if you factor in what Huni doesn't really play. He's shown that he can be a team player, but it's not going to be toward his strengths. Okay, Licorice, I think that he massively improved on tanks. I think that when you look at when Cloud9 switched out their key players from the summer split, when you had like funnel meta and stuff like that, I think that if he had the more caliber players around him at that current point in time than what was shown, Cloud9 probably easily could have been the top team in the league. Just off basis Fiora performances, off his Aurelia performances. He's shown that as much as he improved from Spring Split, he was able to pretty much handily go toe-to-toe with everyone beside our number one pick, which is probably obvious by now. Then you go into playoffs with TSM. He's fantastic in that series. He beats someone who's been a consistent top laner for a while. Even in games they lost, he was winning. You factor in that he can play tanks and be a damage carry threat, which is really weird and odd. You factor in that once you get to Worlds, he was able to go up against players like Let Me, QV, proven players that are supposed to be better than him, and beat them. I think that when you factor in other things that he offered the team, he offered them flexibility in Worlds, which is really valuable to have. I just think that overall he's going to be a fantastic... you just factor in he translates all this experience and then moves it over into next year. But there's a problem with that.
Okay.
This is where he's my number 2 pick. I think the calibers of players that he had around him did kind of facilitate that more. But you still factor in that still was his own doing. TPs, flexibility, being able to team fight. He team fights really well. He's also able to solo kill you on tanks. That's only something that the number 1 pick is going to probably be able to do. But who knows? That's just going to be something like that. The team is able to draft around him. He's able to just facilitate the team in a way that a lot of these other players just don't facilitate his team. When do you know a rookie top laner at Worlds that is supposed to beat proven top laners already? Huni. That's never happened.
Huni.
When he was a rookie. Yeah, see, that's why these guys are in the top, later half of the
Yeah, but Huni actually did it.
He won games?
Against what top laners that were good? Let Me and
QB, they're proven top laners that are supposed to be better than him, and he's...
Yeah, but they underperformed at Worlds. Why?
Can you say that about Huni's players?
No.
He faced balls at Worlds at one point.
He played Marin and all these players,
you also brought up the point where proven players that beat him. Smeb beat Huni.
He played well against Smeb for one point, and then just got completely demolished by him.
But that's something where you factor in Keen. Maybe this year he learns that and plays better next year.
I feel like Smeb was on a different level than the Keen, though, because Smeb demolished Huni, but I think...
I had to rival that point with something.
You're right. Huni did get smashed by Smeb.
But he did. But Licorice did look better. He just looked really comparable. They got a shining light in this guy. And it's not anything biased. This is just completely from what I'm seeing. He's a flexible carry threat, and that's perfectly fine for them. And he brings up the Singe, but that's not the point there. Why is he not number 1? Because he's not my number 1 for a specific reason. Yes, Worlds does factor in a lot, but when you factor in when you had a funnel meta, what he did probably could have got Cloud9 to first place if Cloud9 had not the right players. What our number 1 pick is why he's not my number 1 is what he did it just better. Than Licorice did. And the fact that Licorice could be he was 3rd in MVP voting behind Doublelift and Ssumday. If Doublelift didn't get it, then he was going to be 2nd. That's incredible.
If you just vaporize Doublelift's existence, then he gets 2nd, yes.
How a rookie being in the top 3...
That's happened quite so often,
it's something, but I think that...
I think the difference between... Doublelift and Ssumday were just above everybody else in the MVP voting.
Yeah, but if those two didn't perform well at all, he's gonna win MVP, which is just that's blasphemous to know that this guy was on a challenger team and went to Worlds, did well, and was gonna be almost MVP in his 2nd split, and he got rookie of the split too.
Against who? Who else was the
Mike Young?
Mike Young was not a rookie.
Okay, so that's why I think he's gonna be number 2. I think he's gonna be a lot more consistent than these other guys. He's shown quite a lot to me that these guys haven't shown in a while, or can show, and the world experience is gonna, I think, translate over. And I think that with better teammates to start it off than what he had last split, if you add in those carry performances, I think they're gonna finish 3rd or 2nd place again. So, all right. So our number one pick is.
I think it's undeniably you can't compete. You essentially can't refute this. It has to be Ssumday. Ssumday wins.
You're gonna go first.
Yeah, but Ssumday. This is essentially my favorite player in the league. Besides him and Piglet are my 2 favorite players because I just like them. There's no reason for me to like them, but essentially what I think about Ssumday is what he provides to the team is essentially either you have the best tank in NA, you can have the best tank player in NA with him, or you can have the best best to second best carry, depending on how Huni's playing consistently. But I think just the things that he provides to he's the most versatile. Without a doubt, he can play anything.
He actually beat every single one of the top laners.
Yeah, in every single position, he can play. Like, let's just think about his slump, which was Spring Split. He was the second best top laner. That is quite a slump, isn't it? That is the second... When he slumped...
What a slump you have, second?
The second best top laner in Spring, and that's, like, mostly due to the fact that I think that probably just put him on terrible picks. I think it probably
when he got those carry picks, it was absolutely
yeah. He consistently put him on tanks and tried to funnel through the bot lane, which is why I think he looked bad in Spring. So I'm not gonna even put that on him. I think this team all around, I feel like, not the team. I just feel like all around what he provides to the team, versatility. There's nothing he can't play. Mm-hmm. He provides a stable top lane threat. He provides a stable tank player. Like
a tank player that can solo kill you.
Yes.
What in the world is that?
Well, that was just mainly on Nautilus, to be fair. But you won't really see him doing it on like. No, you'll see him on Shen too. But for the most part,
his Shen play is absolutely incredible.
What I think,
Licorice Shen play is really good too.
Yeah. So. For the most part, I think that his TP. I mean, his impact in TPs, I think, is his biggest fault, to be honest. And even then, I think he's one of the better top laners in any with that. I think he sometimes hesitates. I think it's more so a communication issue than anything. But that could be chalked up to most of the team's problems in general. The team, like 100 Thieves last split. I think that their biggest problem as a team was communication. So can we really blame him for that again? Like it seems like most of his
very unfair not to play number one.
Most of his weaknesses come based purely off the fact that I think 100 Thieves, every single weakness that I can identify came off of the team didn't do this well or this, but most of them don't really correlate with him that well. I think that when it came down to is he an international threat, I think he is. I think in terms of what he could have, I think honestly he could have competed with the best of the best in the top lane if he had a functional team around him. I think that he was capable on carries. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think there's not really a tank top laner that I could think besides the Shy. Honestly, the Shy is just on another level than everybody else. But if I'm gonna say anybody who can just manhandle this dude, I can't think of anybody. I can't think of a single top laner who could just demolish him in the world. I think that he is at least going to go even with everybody except for the Shy.
Because we saw at 2015 Worlds, he was a fantastic beast. But at this Worlds, when he wasn't given those options to do what he could have done, it just didn't look good. Now, people are going to obviously rate the most recent performance. Now, everything I just said about Licorice gets a complete, except the Worlds part that applies to Ssumday. It's going to be weird because I feel like if they had just given him a carry threat, we would have seen another Ssumday at Worlds. But let's factor in Ssumday. Okay, so he's number one. Versatility, A. He does what's the thing? 4-1, which is probably gonna be a thing.
It's gonna be a 1-3-1 of anything with this team that they have now.
A. Team fighting, A. Split push, A. What else does he have? Carry potential, A. His coming out party was that game against Clutch Gaming, and I think that proved that this guy is just on a different level. The fact of the matter is that the only person to beat him out by a few of their votes was Doublelift, and that was because all the team funneled resources into him. And it's weird because Ssumday got all of his resources on his own, just by beating people. And I think that when you factor in everything Licorice did for Cloud9 to try to get them those wins in summer, Ssumday did that to success, and you just can't discredit that. He did all of that with success with a team that was, I mean, honestly, falling apart. So
it was falling apart. So
all of his Fiora carry performances, he's just an all-around great player. And I think that this year, with a more cohesive bot lane and an 80 carry that's probably not going to speak just in general, but it's going to be a whole lot better for him to facilitate his carry potential. It's my number one pick. Someday, because someday he'll love me.
Okay, so I'm going to put this out there. If Prawley somehow manages to never put him on a carry again, I really hope that he gets fired, because that will drive me insane if he does it 2 years in a row.
Or you just don't want to be wrong about your number one pick.
I just feel like he's not giving Ssumday his carries. He's giving Ssumday anything. He just keeps consistently putting him on Sion, which Sion was a great pick, but like Sion, when your best player on the entire team is Ssumday, no, you should not be putting him on that.
Yeah. I think that everything Ssumday covers, these guys just don't. Like, laning, split push, macro, team fighting, TPs, all that stuff. He just covers better.
Now,
Now this might be recency split bias, but that's something. That's not. I mean, you can't really even take that into consideration.
He has played.
If you just count by just a split, he played fantastically.
Ever since he's came to NA, he has been a top 2 player. Never, in my opinion, he's never been below top 2 in NA.
Yeah, that's our top 10. I guess we should probably. You want to run it down from the beginning, or just
Okay, so what I'm gonna be doing, since I have no ability to edit and he really doesn't even know how to function computers, we are gonna essentially put our top 10. We're gonna put it in the description.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really all we can do, honestly. We just have.
Yeah, I have a different YouTube account, so I'll just sign in and type mine as if like you know.
I can do it right here. I got it all written down right here. So
but I have to argue with you in the comment section below.
Well, I'm okay. All right. Well, honestly, we have everything set out. We'll put both of our rankings in the top. If you have any arguments as to why we place some of these characters,
God, we're gonna get. I feel like the Ssumday pick is gonna get us flamed.
I don't really see. I feel like the Huni one might get me flamed, but that's pretty much it. But for the most part, I think that
maybe the Darshan one.
No,
we put Darshan super low.
He is super low. That's for a reason. But all around, I think that we put our reasons out there, and in the description we'll have both of our rankings. If you have anything, essentially, if you disagree with any of our just comment in the section below, and I'll probably be the one to. I will be the one to comment.
Hit the notification bell. Ding.
Yeah. Like the video. Do that every single time.
Like the video if you haven't, and subscribe if you have not. Inside for Nerds signing out. Also, I want to see some legit reasons why I want to see some keyboard warrior paragraphs for these guys.
I know these people have been pretty knowledgeable.
I want some
comment
essays.
Section,
Essays.
So have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing. We are gonna do one for every other role.
We are eventually when they get filled out.
We'll do support next. Support is kind of a dicey role.
Yeah.
Oh no, you guys wanted the TSM video is gonna come tomorrow.
Okay.
Promise. TSM video will come.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye. Mm-hmm.